Alright, I'm going to go ahead and collapse my Riley County. The next thing I want to do is clip and reproject some rasters. And I actually have two fairly large rasters here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my soils, expand my desk, and turn on my LiDAR data. So I need to check in desk. And this is fairly large. This is going to take quite a while to redraw each time I want to manipulate my data frame. So this is something that I actually do want to clip down. So in order to clip my raster, what I actually need to do is to select my graphic area of interest. So if you don't have a graphic area of interest, I recommend going back to a previously created tutorial called How to Create a Graphic Area of Interest so that you can clip rasters. So I want to make sure that this is selected. If it's not selected, it's going to look like this, where you don't have any handles. And in order to select it, you need to make sure that you have the Select Element tool pressed in here. And that way you can select things in this data view. And you want to be careful to not accidentally move your graphic area of interest. So while I have my graphic area of interest selected, I'm going to go over here to my data frame and I'm going to right click on the raster that I wish to clip. And that's going to be my LiDAR data here. I'm just going to right click on that. And then I'm going to go down to the data in my context menu here. And then I will go to Export Data. In the export data, I want to make sure that selected graphic clipping is actually selected. And sometimes you may want to clip out the inside. So for example, if you're working with LiDAR data and you find the points, like say in a pond area, is rather erratic, you can actually clip out that pond information and replace it with something else in two separate steps. But in this case, we're just wanting to clip out the boundary, the stuff on the outside, and keep the stuff on the inside, so we'll make sure that this one is dotted in. The next thing here is talking about spatial reference. Now if you don't do anything here, we can kind of get a preview in this window down here of what is going to happen if we don't make any more changes. We can see that the spatial projection is going to be in UTM, and UTM is pretty much commonly known to be in meters. And we want it to be in feet because our soils is also in feet, and we set our data frame to feet, and we kind of just generally decided that we want everything to be in feet. And we're using that Kansas State Plane North spatial projection. Another thing that's kind of helpful here, if we look at the output raster, we can see what the cell size is. The cell size is 2 meters by 2 meters. So if we convert this to feet, it's going to roughly be about 6 meters or 6 feet by 6 feet. So I want my output coordinate system of my raster to be the same as my data frame, so I'll go ahead and dot that in. Now if we look down here in our preview, it says that our spatial reference is now going to be in our NAD 1983 State Plane Kansas North FIPS 1501 feet. Take a look at our cell size and we can see that that has been converted from meters to feet. So I took the 2 meters and converted it to whatever that is in feet, which happens to be 6.56166 continuous. Alright, so now let's take a look down here. We want to make sure that our raster is going to end up in our geodatabase. And because we had set the default geodatabase to be at this marletpark.gdb location, it tends to remember it for us. Very convenient, as you can see. So it's automatically going to end up in the geodatabase. Now if you don't have this here, you'll have to click this folder icon and browse out to that location. Over here where it says name, well, we probably don't want to have all of these special characters in the name, so let's go ahead and rename this. And then add the letters maybe XY to kind of hint to me, to remind me that I've only changed the XY to feet and I haven't done so with the Z. So this is kind of a work in progress kind of thing. So once I'm done with that, looks like everything else is set the way that it should be. I'm going to go ahead and click Save and let that geo process. I should get a little notification here that's asking me would I like to add the exported data to the map as a layer. I'm going to go ahead and click yes to that. Now over here I'm going to turn off my source data so that I can see the result of my clipping, and I can see that this is exactly what I wanted.